the need for educational reform here in America.
Oh, yeah. 1983, Ronald Reagan convened a conference called A Nation at Risk, produced a report that contained a very memorable line. It said, if a foreign power tried to impose upon us the educational mediocrity we've imposed upon ourselves, we'd consider it an act of war. Well, nothing improved, so in 1994, Bill Clinton and Congress gave an edict to the future. Congress passed Goals 2000. They said by the year 2000, we would have 90% graduation rate from high school. It's still about 78. And we would be #1 in the world in math and science. We're not. So in 2001, we gave another edict to the future. We passed No Child Left Behind. It said that by 2014, for those of you keeping score, that's last year, by 2014, there would be 100% proficient. 100%, we don't mess around in Washington. 100% proficiency in reading and math. The scary thing is we almost got there because we gave a financial incentive to every state to dumb down its standards of proficiency. Now, we can keep doing this. We can keep throwing money at schools. We did this for years. After the Second World War, when the baby boom generation began going through the public schools like a pig through a python, everyone agreed that the best predictor of a school's performance is the amount of money you spend on it. Increased financial inputs, cognitive outputs will increase. So we did under both parties. Class sizes got smaller, schools were built, teachers' salaries went up. Everything improved except test scores. So we had the biggest social science survey in American history. Was conducted in the 1960s to find out what was going on. Produced the Coleman Report. You know what the Coleman Report said? It's all families. 90% of the differences in schools' performance can be explained not by the money you spend on it, by variables such as the quantity and quality of reading matter in the home, the amount of homework done in the home, the amount of television watched in the home. But most of all, don't tell me the pupil-teacher ratio, tell me the pupil-parent ratio. Today, with family disintegration galloping, this month, right now, is the 50th anniversary of the Moynihan Report. 1965, Pat Moynihan, then a 38-year-old social scientist in the Labor Department, published a report called The Negro Family, the Case for National Action. He said there is a crisis because 23.7% of African-American children are born out of wedlock. Today it's 72%. It's 40% for all American first births of all races and ethnicities. Today, ladies and gentlemen, now you think about this, a majority of mothers under 30 are not living with the fathers of their children. A majority. Now, we know what that means. It means a constantly renewed cohort of adolescent males raised without fathers. We know what that means. Unruly neighborhoods and schools where disciplining crowds out teaching. As Pat Moynihan said, from the wild Irish slums of the East Coast in the 19th century to the barrios of Los Angeles, the lesson of history is unambiguous. When you have a large cohort of unparented adolescent males, you have chaos. There are limits to what schools can do to do the work of families. Families can't teach algebra, but families can teach the normal civilizing process of getting along in life. A teacher in Chicago says she regularly gets 7-year-olds coming to school who don't know numbers, shapes, or colors. No one, while making dinner, ever said 10 green round peas. The biggest problem America faces is family disintegration. I don't care what anyone, because the question was about schools. Let me just say, look, what we have to do is get the federal government out of the business of trying to make the schools as wonderful as Amtrak and the post office. Turn this all back to the states, get rid of anything remotely like Common Core, promote school choice so that you have a market and competition, and things will get better.